Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Let's start the session. People may join later on. This is a session on preparing and delivering technical presentations. The idea behind this session is to make the students aware about the importance of technical presentations. That means how to prepare the PPT and how to present the PPT in an effective manner in front of maybe your classmates, in front of external examiner, or even if you have joined the corporate, then many times you need to deliver the presentation. So in this session, I'm going to discuss a few important points that you must know about preparing and delivering the technical sessions. The idea behind this session is from my observation of final year students internship presentations. So I evaluated almost 10, 12 students presentation, and from that I found that our students must aware about the importance of presentation during their engineering study. So in today's session, I'm going to discuss the purpose of the presentation, things to know before the presentation, then how to prepare the presentation. Once the presentation is ready, what should we remember before the presentation? Then what should you do during the presentation? And I will be discussing some case studies. Now, when we say a presentation or PPT, PowerPoint presentation, to prepare the effective presentation, you need to remember 4P. There are 4Ps. The first P is plan. Before starting the preparation, you have to plan your presentation. In planning mode, you need to decide the content, you need to decide the material, you need to decide the system, methodology, which type of diagrams you are going to use, what should be the layout of the slide, what should be the font style, what should be the color scheme, which types of logos you are going to put in your presentation. This all come under planning. The second step is prepare. Once you plan, you have to start preparation. In preparation, you have to accommodate all those things which you have planned in PowerPoint slides. After preparation, the third P is practice. Once your PPT or presentation is completely ready, you have to do a lot of practice before actual examination or actual presentation in front of audience or examiner. And the last thing is present. That means you have to present your work, your PPT, your presentation in front of the audience. So 4 Ps to prepare and deliver an effective presentation. Now, if you see these 4 Ps and just see the timeline or duration, here this one is the longest one. Planning. In planning, you should focus more. You have to give the maximum time in planning of your presentation, because once you plan effectively, you will require lesser amount of time in preparation compared to planning. If you prepare the presentation very effectively, you will need even a lesser time in practice. And if you practice well, you will need the least time during your presentation. So the 4 Ps and their timeline: plan, prepare, practice, and present. And by considering all these 4 Ps, now we will discuss the purposes of the presentation. So here you can see two types of objectives or purposes. First one is denoted in red, second is green. Red is obviously you have to avoid, and green is you have to accept. That means your presentation is not to impress the audience. You should not impress the audience. Then The presentation purpose is not to tell the audience about you know everything about your subject or topic. And the third thing is the presentation should not include every little detail of your work. Why the second and third points are important? Why should you not put everything you know into your slide? It is because we know that at the end of presentation there is a question answer session. Now let's assume you know 10 points about one topic and you have mentioned all the 10 points in the slide. And during your presentation, definitely you are going to discuss all the 10 points. So during question answer, what you will inform, what you will discuss, if the question will be there from that particular topic. That means out of those 10 points, you have to include 7 or 8 points, and keep the 1 or 2 points with you handy so that during the question answer session, you can elaborate that topic in a deeper manner. So by doing this, you will be having a tactic that in presentation, you are going to discuss 8 points, and during question answer session, you need not to remain idle for a longer duration because you have that remaining 2 additional topics or points that you can add when the examiner is asking the question. So this is what you should not do. What should you do? The presentation is for giving the audience a sense of what your idea or work is. That means most of the final year students are doing either internship or project. So during your internship or during your project, what you have done at the industry, this you have to explain in front of your examiner or audience. Second, the purpose of the presentation is to make them aware, to make them want to read your paper or report if you are going to submit the report or research paper. Your presentation should be such that after observing your presentation, the audience must be curious to read your work in detail. And the third one is very important. You should get the feedback on your work, whether your work is up to the mark or is there any lacking or not. So these three are the yes part of your presentation. So what to do, what to not during the planning of the presentation. Then things to know before the presentation. Here, during the planning mode, there are 6 important questions that you must answer. And from the answers of the 6 questions, you can decide the content of your presentations or slides. The first question is why? Why are you presenting? Why are you preparing the presentation? Is it an exam, university exam, or internal review? In which case you are going to present the work? So first question is why. Second question is how you are going to deliver the presentation. Is it projector based, offline, online mode, or you are presenting on whiteboard, or you are using a smart board? This is how part. Third, where are you presenting? Are you presenting your work in your classroom, or you are presenting the work at the university examination where external examiner present or external people are evaluating your work? The fourth question is what you are presenting. Is it your subject knowledge or your internship experience or your project, or it is a project proposal in front of any funding agencies like SSIP or Idea Lab or any other? Then time. How much time you are getting to present your work? As I said earlier, after each presentation, there is a question answer session. So maybe you are given 15 or 20 minutes for presenting your work. And after that, 10 minutes will be for question answer session. So depending upon this time, you need to decide the slides, number of slides. Like if you are given 15 minutes, accordingly, you can select the number of slides. If you are given more minutes, then number of slides can be increased. So This question, the fifth question is time, and the sixth question is audience. Which type of audience will be there in front of you? Whether your classmates are there, or experts are there, teachers are there, examiners are there, and so on. So depending upon this, please wait. Let me unshare the screen and once again share it. Yes. So type of the audience. So from these 6 questions, you can decide the content, number of slides, mode of the presentation, which type of audience will be there, where you are presenting. And by collecting all these answers, you can start planning your presentation. Now, once you have planned, then you need to prepare the presentation. Now, when we say presentation, the most important thing is content selection and structure of your presentation. So there is a standard structure for each kind of presentation. Here, there are 4 types of contents that you can add in your presentation. The first content is must. You must add this content in your slide. For example, you are talking about some algorithm or some process. In that case, you have to provide the flow chart. You have to put the diagram of the flow chart in the presentation. If someone is talking about some production mechanism or electric vehicles, then you have to add diagrams, advantages, disadvantages, working mechanism of that electric vehicles. So the first type of content is must. So you cannot deliver on target without this content. So must, you decide. Out of all those contents, you have decided which part is the must one. The second is should. You should include this content in your presentation. This content is important, but not that much vital as compared with must part. So you should include this content in your presentation. If you do not include this should part, you may be playing with the quality of your presentation. I'm saying maybe. So you should include. The third part is could. You could include. And this content is wanted or desirable, but less important. It is not that much important as much and should part. So you could include or you could not include. It will not affect your presentation much. And the part, fourth part is won't or will not. You will not include this content. And this content is that which has no impact at all if you missed out in your presentation. So while gathering the content, you separate the content into these 4 categories: must, should, could, and will not or won't. And depending upon this, depending upon the number of slides, depending upon the layout, depending upon the time, out of these 4 types of content, these 2 are desirable, but from these 2, you should decide judiciously and then start preparing the slides. Then, while putting the content in the PowerPoint board, this is the golden rule. One picture is worth 1,000 words. So here you can see there is one small essay paragraph. Creamy, delicious, yummy fuzz ice cream, almond, chocolate chip, mint ice cream, strawberry ice cream with real crunch of strawberry. So the description of ice cream is written in this paragraph. But in place of putting this kind of paragraph, if you put this type of picture, the picture is worth 1,000 words. So remember this golden rule that instead of putting the paragraphs, if you can find an appropriate image or picture, please put the picture in instead of that paragraph. Then any presentation, any slide it has a particular structure. And when you design the presentation, when you decide the structure, you should use the multimedia learning tools. Which are the different multimedia learning tools? The first one is images. You should use images. Second one is you should include a short videos or audios. Now, when we say videos, it should not be more than 1 minute of length. So maximum 1 minute video you can add into your presentation, or you can also add audio clips, music clips. Next is animation. When we say animation, there are two things. First thing is GIF files. We all know what is GIF file. I will show you the example later on. So put GIF files. This is one kind of animation. And the second kind of animation is the order in which the content appears in front of the audience. For example, here I am clicking one by one and my content is visible to you. This is also called animation. Why this animation is important? What happens? Let me explain. I have not included the animation in my slide, and when I click, this entire slide number 8 will be visible to you. Let's assume I am explaining the animation part, or you are explaining the animation part, or point number 1. In that case, if the animation is not there and all the points are visible to the audience, instead of listening to you, the audience will be busy in reading the remaining content of the slide. I hope you are getting. At present, I am explaining the animation, but many of you may be reading the remaining content, table, graph, chart, shapes, and in your mind, you may be thinking about that content. So this is the importance of animation. Never ever present all the content of the slide in front of the audience. Insert the animation such that one by one points and topics appears when you are explaining. So this is animation. Fourth one is tables. In many domains like computer, IT, and others, you need to present the data, and data can be put in a best manner with the help of tables. So use the tables. Then you should include graphs. Every time tables are not looking good. So if it is possible to convert a data from particular table into graphs, you convert into the graphs and put the graphs. Next is chart. You can use different types of bar chart and line chart, and many charts are available in Microsoft Excel sheet as well as in PowerPoint also. Or you can use any tool like MATLAB and others to design the charts. Then shapes. Depending upon your content, include various shapes in your presentation. Which are the different types of shapes you can use? I will show you the later. But in PowerPoint, there is a readily available shapes gallery. And from that shape, you can select appropriate shape to highlight the content, to differentiate important content from the rest of the slides and so on. That example I will show you in the later part. And the last part of multimedia learning is stair steps. For example, you are explaining one process which is hierarchical in nature. So to explain the hierarchy or to explain the sequential procedure, instead of putting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps, you can use these stair steps readily available in Smart Art or PowerPoint Gallery. So these many multimedia tools you can use to make your presentation catchy and attractive while you present it. Then every presentation has 4 important components. The first one is content, that is what you are going to put, subject matter. Second, style. Third, color scheme. And fourth one is progress. When we say content, then the golden rule is less is more. On the slide, you should not write 8, 10 sentences. You can put 1 or 2 sentences, and the remaining part put any appropriate image regarding that sentences or topic. Fill in with narration, not words. So instead of encouraging the audience to read your slide, encourage them to listen to you. That's why less is more. Put only one or two points, two sentences, or put the topics only and elaborate in narration. Then style. You decide the style of your presentation. For example, at present you are observing slide number 9, right? Here you can see there is slide number at the right hand corner. If you see the entire presentation, you will find three things constant or consistent. One thing is header. So in header, I have put a GSAT logo on left hand side, CVM University logo on right hand side, my main heading, main title slide heading, this. Then there is a separator that above this horizontal yellow and blue line, there will be only heading and no content. In footer, I have put my name and slide number. So this is the style of the presentation. When we say color scheme, you can see on my screen or on your screen or slide, I have used a definite color. For example, main content I have used black color, and to emphasize the topics, I have used a different color. And this I follow throughout my presentation. So if you see all my slides, you will see the same color scheme. So these four important points you must remember while preparing the presentation. Now, what should be the structure of the presentation? As I said earlier, the structure of the presentation is almost same in all types of presentations. There may be a little variations, but the main structure will be same. Now, what is the meaning of structure of the presentation? Structure of the presentation means content divided in how many parts. So the first part is title slide. Every presentation must include title slide. Second is content. This is also known as flow of presentation. You remember the second slide I discussed flow of presentation. That means during today's session, what you are going to explain. So inform your audience well in advance that in today's session, I am going to deliver or I am going to discuss these many points. It is called flow of presentation or flow of content. The third part is introduction of the presentation. This introduction must be brief description about the topic, and it should include basic introduction, its advantages, disadvantages, and any other relevant point. And this introduction slide must be maximum 3 or 4 slides, not more than that. One title slide, one content slide, 3 4 slides of brief description of topic. Then comes main body of the presentation. In main body, you have to discuss system or methodology you have implemented or you have used during your internship or project, its results and discussion. So you should put everything here as a main body at the fourth part. And in this case, you may include this in 15 to 20 slides if sufficient time is given to you. Otherwise, 10 to 15 slides. So in 10 to 15 or 15 to 20 slides, you design your main body. And the last part of your presentation must include conclusive part, that is conclusion. And conclusion should include summary, references, that means which literature you have referred, which book, which website you have referred. Then appendix. Appendix must consist of some important or vital data which you have not included in your main body or introduction, and other important details like acknowledgement and other things. So this is the structure of the presentation, main structure: title slide, content, introduction, main body, and conclusion. Now, once you decide everything, you start preparing. This is one of the example of bad title slide. This is the title slide of one of the presentations I evaluated recently. Can you believe this is the title slide? Now, there are a lot of problems or lot of missing things are there in this title slide. There is no header footer, there is no enrollment number of the student, no name of the student, guide name, though there is mention of only industrial guide, but institute guide name is not mentioned. Logo is not there. Then the content is not arranged properly. So this is very bad example of title slide. So the title slide should be consisting of this many parts. Your title slide must include name of the topic, your topic of internship or project. It must include name and enrollment number of the student. Many times you put your name but you miss your enrollment number. Do not do this. Please insert name and enrollment number both. Third is name and designation of guide oblique guides. That means if there is one guide, only put that details. If there is internal guide and external guide, you have to mention both the names with their designations. Then your title slide must include the logo of university and institute. And the last one is you should include a relevant picture, photograph, or animated picture. On title slide, you should put the relevant photograph. For example, somebody is discussing about blockchain technology. You put blockchain technology diagram on the title slide. If somebody is presenting on electric vehicles, you put a good picture of electric vehicle on the title slide. So these 5 components you must include on your title slide. It will make your title slide very attractive and with full information so that your examiner or audience will get the idea and they will be encouraged to attend your presentation very attentively. So this is the example of one of the title slides of my presentation. Here you can see this is my title. This is presented by, that means my name with my enrollment number. This is the name of my guide. Here I have included the logo of university, name of the university, and the place where I am going to I'm going to deliver the talk. This is another title slide. This is non-technical book review, India's most fearless. So I have, in the last slide, you can also see I have inserted one relevant picture. The picture is of silicon rubber insulator. My topic is related to silicon rubber insulator. So I have put the diagram of silicon rubber insulator. Similarly, here my topic is India's most fearless 3 book review. So I put the title of the book. Similarly, this is one of the subjects PPT I am teaching. Subject name is there, chapter name is there. This chapter is about static electric field. So I have put the photograph of electric field between positive and negative charges. Then this is another title slide. It is about my session on substation, electrical substation. So you can see there is embedded video inside the text. As the session is on substation, I have put the photograph of electric substation. Then there is GSAT logo on left hand side, CBM University logo on right hand side in header. So this is how you can design your title slide. Then in the main content, you must include slide number. You must include slide number. You can see here, I have included slide number. This is slide number 17. Why should you include slide number? This is very important. There are 2 main points due to which you have to include the slide numbers. The first point is, let's assume you haven't included the slide number. You forget to include the slide number in your presentation. When examiner is evaluating your presentation, and let's assume the examiner has the query or question on slide number 10, for example. So at the end of the presentation, the examiner will tell you to go to that particular slide number. And if you haven't included the slide number, you can imagine the situation. Examiner will be telling you previous slide, previous slide, previous slide, and you have to go back. This will be the situation. Instead of that, if you have included the slide number, the examiner will directly tell you that go to the slide number 10. And what you can do, just simple enter the slide number on your keyboard and press enter. For example, here if I enter 10 and put enter, I will be directly on slide number 10. No need to escape, no need to use the cursor, no need to use the mouse. This is the example of usefulness of slide number. Then second aspect of slide number is time management. If you have included the slide numbers, you know that your presentation consists of, let's say, 25 slides, and you are given 20 minutes to deliver. Now, already 10 minutes passed, and you are on slide number 8 only. So now you can decide that I have remaining 10 minutes. In that 10 minutes, I need to discuss remaining 17 slides. So you can give the pace or speed to your presentation. You can go faster. You can omit or neglect some unimportant points. This is the advantage of having slide number. Time management. You can manage the time if you have included the slide number. Then you have to include heading and subheading in each slide. So you can see here, this preparing the presentation is the main heading. This is the main heading of the slide. And you must include, this is the subheading. So in every slide, or if possible, for every slide, heading is compulsory. But if possible, you should include subheading also. So never forget inserting main heading and subheading in each slide. Then if you are using figure diagrams, table, graphs, etc., then put the caption for each of it. For example, you have included one chart. So here there is time, and here there is, let's say, degree centigrade temperature. So you should write the caption here. It is the graph between temperature versus time, or relevant caption. So for each figure, diagram, table, graph, you have to include short caption or name of that figure, diagram, or table. So these three things will definitely make your presentation different from other people. So remember this: heading, subheading, slide number, and caption for each figure, diagram, table, along with title slide. Then slide layout. Again, you can see this is main heading and this is subheading. Slide layout. So there are two types of slide layouts, good and bad. What is bad slide layout? This is bad slide layout. Consider this shaded portion is the complete slide. So this page contains too many words for a presentation slide. It is not written in point form, so it is completely a paragraph. It may it is making it difficult for your audience to read and for you to present each point, because everything is written in paragraph. So this must be avoided. This kind of slide layout is not appropriate. So which type of slide layout is good? This is good slide layout. This page contains the content point-wise or bullet in the bullet form. This is making it easy for your audience to read and for you to present each point. You can present each point very easily. The slide looks much better than the earlier one. You can compare this one and this one. right? The green one is better one. In short, the audience will spend time listening to you instead of reading. If you use this type of slide layout given in right hand side, audience will not be listening to you. Audience will be busy in reading the content because lot of content you have provided. So examiner and audience will be busy in reading. Nobody will listen to you. But if you have put the points in bullet form or point wise, audience will pay attention what you are speaking. So this is good and bad slide layout. One more thing in slide, this is the example of bad layout. You can see introduction to company. This is the heading, right? Now everything is given in paragraph point. This is the first thing to avoid. Then this paragraph is not justified, not aligned. You can see the justification is not there, text justification. The fonts are smaller. Majority of the part of this slide is blank. You can see here there is lot of space. Here there is lot of space. On downside also there is lot of space. So you're wasting the important space of your slide by doing this. So select the font size accordingly, font type accordingly, select the layout. Now many times you come across the situation where on particular slide there are only 1 or 2 points. So one point is written here, second point is, let me explain by removing this. Let's say one point is written here, second point is written here. Still you have this space blank and there isn't any content to put on that slide because from next slide new topic is started. So what to do? Very simple trick. You read these 2 points and from these 2 points you find out a relevant picture or relevant quote or relevant diagram and put that picture, quote or diagram here and the blank space. So it will fill the blank page space and it will give a different kind of feeling to the audience. Instead of keeping this uh, space blank, completely blank, because you don't have any much content to put, only 2 points you are going to put on the slide, remaining part remains blank. So instead of keeping it blank, put appropriate picture out of these 2 points. And this will make your slide more attractive. So please remember this. Now fonts. Again, here also there are good and bad. Which are the good fonts? Use a decent font size. This size is 24. This size is 26. And this are 28. So there is a hierarchy. 26, 28, 26, 24. That means use different size fonts for main points, sub points, and content. So this is main point, this is the sub point, and this is the content. So use different size of the fonts for different sections of the slide. Then this point is already I have discussed 24 points. Main point font is 26 and the title font is 28. Then use a standard fonts like Times New Roman, Cambria, Arial, Calibri, etc. These are good visible font styles. What are examples of bad fonts? Here you can see font size is bad. If you use a small font, your audience will not be able to read what you have written. Sometimes you will also not be able to read what you have written. So select the font size appropriately. Then this is one of the common mistakes students are doing. Capitalize only when necessary. It is difficult to read. Do not make entire sentence in capital. Write in capital only if it is essential. Otherwise avoid the capitalization. Next, Don't use a complicated font. You can see this is very complicated font to read for the audience, particularly when online session is there. You will not be able to read it. Here it is written, don't use a complicated font. So you use a decent font. Then another example, in font now it is a color. Use a font color that contrasts sharply with the background. If you have used light background, use the darker fonts. If your background is dark, use lighter fonts. So font and background must be in contrast with each other. Use color to reinforce the logic of your structure. You can use a different color of fonts to some particular content or sentences to give the logic, to explain the logic of your structure. Use color to emphasize a point. For example, you can see this sentence entirely written in black, but I have used the color to emphasize, to differentiate this word, emphasize. Like here you can see reinforce, here contrast. These are the keywords of the sentence. So identify the keywords and change the color. You can do it bold also. This is bad. Never use too bright colors, particularly when the background is white or light. Then using a font color that does not contrast with the background color is very difficult to read. If you use this kind of yellow or radium color, light blue color, then it will be very difficult to read even for you also. So keep contrast. Then using color for decoration is distracting and annoying. Our presentation must be attractive. For giving the attraction, we must decorate our presentation. But in doing so, we should not use those colors which are distracting and annoying. If you use red color very frequently or yellow color very frequently, for audience it will be annoying. So avoid this kind of colors. The last thing here is using a different color for each point is unnecessary. Many students are doing this. Literally, I have observed this kind of presentation even at university level. Different color for each point. For example, you can see here. In this sentence, different color is used for each sentence, each letter. So trying to be creative can also be bad. Sometimes it is bad to become over creative. So please remember this. Then background. Already discussed that background must be in contrast with the font color. But if you observe, most of the professional presentations have white background. Professional presentations, they will be in white background. If it is a presentation for marketing purpose or any other non-technical things, in that case you can use colorful background. But if it is a examination, professional presentation, university examination, your background must be white. And the advantage of using white background is you can use any color in your presentation. If you use dark background, you will be having very limited choices of color. In contrast with this, if you use white background, you can use most of the colors in your presentation. So this is about good background. You should be consistent throughout your presentation. That means starting from first slide to last slide, all the slides background must be same. It is not like that first 5 slides are white background, then 2 slides are dark, then remaining 3 slides are white or yellow background. No. Starting from title slide to last slide, thank you slide, the background must be uniform. It must be simple but attractive. And what is bad example? This is the bad. You can see colorful and it is completely annoying kind of background. So avoid this kind of background. Then use graph to present the data. For example, you need to present this data. It is about sale of pen in January to April months, blue and red pens. So instead of putting this kind of table, you can put this type of chart or graph. This is bar chart. So convert this table into graph. You can convert this in Microsoft PowerPoint itself, or you can convert it in Microsoft Excel, and then just Control C, Control V, copy paste it. And this is the title of the graph: month-wise sale of pens. So never forget inserting the title. So always write an appropriate title in your graph. Data must be readable. So you can see here in January, you can read 50 and 35 pens. So data must be readable. Choose the graph style as per the background. This is how you can use the graph or chart. Here also graph or chart is used, but this is poor selection of graph style. Why poor? Because background is white and the minor grid lines are unnecessary. These horizontal grid lines are not required at all here. Font size is too small. Here it is written 24.4, 36.6, 27.4. But this font size is very small, not readable at all. Then colors are illogical because your background is white and you have used the yellow color, which is not logical. Title is missing. You can see here there isn't any title. And shading is distracting. In this bar chart or bar graph, there is a shading, and shading is not required at all. So whenever you use the graph, please make it as simple as possible and avoid all these mistakes. At the end of session, I will share this presentation with you. So just go through it once again. Then comes presentation layout. Now, what is presentation layout? Many times you have to use text, that is theoretical content, and picture and photographs. Not many times, every time. In technical presentation, there is a combination that your slide must consist of theoretical content and picture and photo. So how to combine these two? How to combine text and pictures on your slide? So there are various options. This is the first kind of layout. What is the type? In this type, here I have used or put the picture on top of the slide or first part of the slide, first half, and at the bottom or below the picture, I have provided the content, appropriate content for each picture. Now, initially I said use of animated files. So these three files are GIF files about lightning stroke. So instead of putting simple picture of lightning, I have used the GIF, animated GIF. So you can find animated GIF. There are n number of websites available from where you can find animated GIF of your subject content, your topic. So find out this kind of animated GIF and use. So this is first layout. Picture, below the picture there is a content. This is second type of layout. Completely reverse of last slide. Here I have put the content first. Below the content I have provided the diagram or picture. Third, also one thing you can observe, instead of listing these points 1 2 3 4 points simply in this slide, I have put this in one box, a rectangular box, and then I provided this kind of another solid filled box of title. So this is second type of slide layout, text and picture. Earlier was picture text, this is text picture. This is third type of layout, side by side. On left hand side there is a picture, on right hand side there is a content. So this also you can do depending upon type of the picture you have. This is fourth type of content. Side by side, right hand side there is a picture, left hand side there is a content. And this is the fifth type of layout where the diagram is embedded within the text. So you can see here there is a content, there is a sentence at the top, below there is a sentence, these are the sentence, and I have adjusted the picture in between. So picture is embedded within the text. So out of these five types of slide layout, you can use any appropriate slide layout depending upon on your content. Now it is not required that you follow the same slide layout throughout your presentation. It may be possible that on slide number 30 you use this kind of layout, on slide number 31 you use different type of layout. It depends on content and photographs. So this is slide layout. Then what to remember while delivering the presentation or before the delivering presentation. Before the presentation, work early. So prepare the slides in advance. Many times it happens that today at 3 p.m. there is a presentation session and students are preparing their presentation starting morning 7. So prepare the slides well in advance. If you do this, you will get sufficient time of practice, and practice will make you perfect. It will give you a confidence during the presentation. So work early. Second, take a second opinion. Once you prepare the presentation, show them to your friends. Only 2 to 3 friends and not entire gang or entire class. Because if you show your presentation to entire class, then you will be distracted because so many correction confusions will be there. So show your presentation to 2 or 3 friends only, peers. This is take the second opinion. Third point you should remember before presentation is verify. When you think you are done, read it again. Read each and every slide once again. Find out is there any spelling mistake. Find out is there any grammatical mistake. Find out is there any animation missing or not. So verify your content once again. Fourth, recheck. So check all animations with the system sound on if you have included video and audio clips. What is the meaning of animations? Here meaning of animation is order of the animation. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4. Many times it may be possible that when you click the mouse, the 3 number appears first. And then number 1 appears. Then number 4 appears. Then number 2 appears. This is mismanagement of animation order. So check for this. Check all the animations with the system sound on. And last one is practice. Arrange a practice session so that you can time your presentation. Because as I said earlier, you will be given a fixed time, 20 minutes for presentation, 10 minutes for question answer session. And you need to complete the presentation in that 20 minutes. So you have to do a lot of practice to manage your time. So this is what you do before the presentation, 5 steps. Work early, second opinion, verify, recheck, and practice. Always, this is very important point. Always assume technology will fail you. So have backups. What is the meaning of backups? Lower version of PPT. This is not the case nowadays because Microsoft 365 is available. But many times projector is not working. Then what to do? You must have a PDF with you or print format with you so that whenever projector is not working, you can present your work from that readily available printout. So have backups. Take the PPT in 2, 3 pen drives because many times it happens one pen drive is not working. In that case, you can use second or third pen drive or put your presentation in your email or drive so that you can download it whenever required. So this is called backup. Then this is very important problem many students are facing. and that is remembering the content. You have nicely prepared the slides, but while presenting, there will be a stage fear. And because of stage fear, many students literally forget their content. So what to do? How to remember the content? Because you have to deliver it, you have to explain it in front of examiner. And if you forget the content, even if your presentation is very excellently prepared, you will not get sufficient marks or grades. So how to remember the content? There are a few methods. First is mind map, pictures or visuals. Second, bullet points. Third, PowerPoint note facility. Fourth, handouts or personal notes. So what is mind map or picture visuals? This is the short notes or cheats. You can prepare the cheats and write down slide number. For example, here I am writing slide number 10. So this is the cheat for slide number 10. For slide number 10, which important points are written or what you haven't included on slide number 10, that you can write in the form of points on a cheat, and that keep cheat with you. You will be allowed to use this kind of handy notes with you during your examination also. Presentation examination, not theoretical. This you can keep with you. You can keep with you this kind of cheats on which short points are written about the content which is not included in the slide, but they are important. Then PowerPoint note facility. Many of you may be aware that PowerPoint has very good facility which is called note facility. But every time this note facility will not be useful to you, but you should be prepared with this kind of note facility. And you can keep handout or personal notes. So take the printout of your PPT so that on one page there will be 4 slides like this. Take the printout. This is called handout, and keep handout in keep the handout with you during the presentation. It will give you the confidence. So this is how you can remember the content. There are other methods also which you can include. Now, during the presentation, what to do? So here, to deliver an effective presentation, the first thing is grooming. Dress accordingly so that you will get a confidence. Dress, hair and shaving. This is must. Particularly when it is a placement kind presentation or university presentation, etc. Then body language. Stand on both of your feet. Many students do not do this. They put weight on one leg and they are changing their position. Do not do this. Stand on both of your feet. Then wear pleasant and natural smile on your face. Move hands only when required. That means it is called the meaningful gesture of your hands. Depending upon your content, you can move your hands so that it will add important, it will the non-verbal communication using the gesture. Then eye contact. Do not look at the ceiling, floor, window, or on the wall while presenting. Maintain the eye contact with the examiner or audience. Also, do not have only darting glances. Look naturally. See in the eyes of examiner naturally, not staring. Then look into the eyes of all, not only noders. In your audience, there are 2 or 3 people who will be nodding to your presentation. And it is obvious that the presenter will look into the eyes of those only 2, 3 people only. Do not do this. Have a look at entire audience and be comfortable. Then voice modulation. During the presentation, this is very important. Your voice should not be loud or soft. That means neither too loud nor too soft. neither too rapid nor too slow. This is called speed, and not flat and monotonous. This is very important. Your voice should not be flat and monotonous. If you need to use the higher note, then you raise the modulation according to your content. For example, if you want to say my system is very efficient, so if you say my system is very efficient, this is one way. Second way, my system is very efficient, this is another way. So do the voice modulation depending upon your content. Then good openings, how to start your presentation. So here there are a few points. First, startling question. Ask the question to the audience that, do you know this is the system, or do you know there is this kind of practice followed by in particular industry. Start with a question, or start with a challenging statement, like I'm going to discuss a point which you have never heard about it. This is called challenging statement. Or start your presentation with appropriate short quotation. Put quotation or quote. Exhibit object, article, or picture on title slide. Already I have told you. And you can share a personal story. So these are the methods of starting your presentation. Never start your presentation from your content. You do any one thing out of these five. This will help you. This will help your audience to connect with you and make the audience eager to listen to you. So this is a good starting, good opening. What is bad opening or poor opening? Here, long or slow moving quotation. If you use quotation which is very long, then people will lose the interest. Self introduction, never do self introduction, because depending upon your content, people will know you. Do not put apologetic statement. Many students are doing this, many speakers are doing this, like please be with me for 20 minutes. This is apologetic statement, you should avoid this. Or please bear with me, or my apologies to you for longer presentation. This is apologetic statement, do not do this. Then do not share story or joke which does not connect to the theme. Do not use non-technical story or non-technical joke while technical presentation. This is poor openings. Then use of sense of humor. During the presentation, you should use this. For example, if I would like to say, be cautious when operating electrical equipment. Instead of writing this sentence, if I put this picture that electrical સાધનો સાથે વાદળા વેડા ના કરશો, electrician ને બોલાવો. This is use of humor. It will convey the message, at the same time it will make the environment lighter. This is also one kind of humor. Engineering student in the first year, in the final year. So this will make the environment lighter. Be careful in this type of content selection. It should be non-objectionable. It should not hurt the sentiment of audience, and it should not stick in the mind of the audience. This is example of animated files or humor. The topic is sleep adequately. And here I have mentioned the advantages of sleeping adequately during the exam. So you can put this kind of animation with the text. Another example is never ever do. If I explain my students what to do and what to not during the exam, I put this and write never ever do. Or you can put this kind of animation. So it will convey the message in very lighter manner, in a best possible way. Then this is one more example. Here I have put the effect of electric shock, that how much current flows through the body, what will be the effect. So instead of putting this kind of content only, if I put this kind of animation, it will make a different impact in the audience. This is the use of GIF, humor, or images. Then this is also another use of diagrams. If I would like to explain the effect of length, thickness, and temperature on resistance of the material, instead of writing this equation and explaining the equation, if I put this kind of picture, the audience will understand in very easy way, easier manner. Then I am showing you a few important tips and tricks to make your presentation effective. Case study. This is one of the examples of title slides. You can see every component, chapter name, a picture of college, my details, and subject topic. Here also this is introduction to MATLAB. As it is about the MATLAB, I have put the diagram of MATLAB. Then this is the title slide of one of my talks on transmission lines. As it is on transmission line, I have put the photograph of overhead transmission lines. I have used the logo of the institute. Then how to write flow of presentation or presentation outline and content of presentation. This is one example. Flow of presentation. So here, introduction, objective, simulation, in simulation, two subtypes, theoretical model, result, conclusion, summary, and so on. So this is very simple flow of presentation or content slide. You make this same slide attractive and very different looking by converting this into smart art or using the smart art. So how can you do this? Convert this thing in smart art like this. So you can see all the same points: introduction, objective, simulation, conclusion, summary, future scope, and references. And clearly it is visible, this slide, though it is good, but this is far better compared to last slide. All the contents are same, points are same, just I have inserted smart art. A smart art is available in PowerPoint. Then this is second example: introduction, literature survey, current research result, proposed work, and references. So this is flow of content or flow presentation or presentation outline. You can convert this using smart art like this. So what to do? Let me show you simple trick. This you need to convert into smart art, right? So select. Now here you can see one option, convert to smart art graphic. Click on it. Go to more smart art graphics. Here there is a list. So list, process, cycle, hierarchy, etc. This is the process, right? Because sequentially we are going one by one. First introduction, then main part, and then conclusion, and so on. So this process. So select any appropriate one. Select this one and click OK. You can see it is converted into boring list to the smart art. And you can change the color scheme. Go to the change color. So here there is option of changing the color scheme. You go to the change color and select the appropriate one. You can see. So compared to earlier boring list, now this is a flow of presentation which is very eye-catching and attractive. It will serve the same purpose. It will inform the audience about your content, but in very attractive manner. So simple, with the help of 2-3 clicks in PowerPoint, you can convert your boring list into attractive smart art. Then another trick is subheading. So you can see this components of a transmission line. This is my main heading, and the conductors, this is my subheading. So instead of writing subheading like this, if I provide this heading to the subheading, like compare this slide now. Compare these two slides. Everything is same. What I have done here, I have converted or I have transformed this subheading. I have put this subheading in one shaded rectangular part. And this you can do with the help of simple 1 or 2 clicks. So you can see this is option 1 and option 2. And it is but natural that you will select the option 2 because it is more attractive. Audience will find that yes, conductor is the subheading and not the part of heading. This is very simple trick but very effective when using subheading. Then if you want to discuss positive and negative points of certain system, in that case you can see here, this is heading, this is subheading, there is a picture on right hand side, there is a content, and advantages I have put in green and disadvantages I have put in red. So you may put positive and negative points in appropriate colors. Positive should be in green or blue, and negative should be in red or allied colors. So just by selecting a proper color scheme, you can make your slide more attractive. At the same time, it will be logical. People will understand that, audience will understand that yes, these are the disadvantages because they are written in red, and the written in green are the advantages. This will make a huge impact in audience about your slide. This is second trick after subheading. Then use of uh, diagrams and graphs. So for this left hand side diagram, I have written the caption Corona image with reference line. And on the right hand graph, I have written intensity profile of pixels along the reference line. So image and graph has its own captions below the graph. So this is the example of caption of graph. Simply here also you can see, in place of simply writing down the caption, I have put the caption in a box. You can select the different color of the boxes also. This is another example. You can see everything: heading, subheading, content, graph, caption of the graph. One more thing you can see here, equation. Here there is equation, and I have put the equation in box so that it looks different than the main text. So whenever you are going to use the equations, put the main equations in the box. You can use the different color box. You can change the background of the box also. And similarly, this is the main point of my content or my slide, that average pixel intensity is increased with the rise in voltage. When I increase the voltage, pixel intensity is increased. This is my conclusion. And I have written the conclusion is light blue background rectangular box, which completely differentiate this conclusion from rest of the content, rest of the text. So this is how you can differentiate the main sentence, logical sentence or conclusive remark of your slide using different color background box. Then classification. Many times you need to classify the system, devices, and so many things. That means simply you have to put the classification. This is one method of classification of circuit breakers used in power system. So there are two main circuit breakers, AC and DC. In AC, there are two subtypes. In HV, there are further two types and so on. This is one approach. Simply put the names with proper indent of the text. That's it. This is the easiest way. But the same thing you can convert into smart art. Example I have shown, I have discussed that select the content, go to the smart art, convert it into the smart art. And if you convert this into smart art, the same classification looks like this. Now you can decide. This slide number 39, classification of circuit breakers, and slide number, this is 40, but I have used the snapshot or picture image of the slide, so it shows 63. Otherwise, this is slide number 40. This slide and this slide convey the same information. But if you compare the look, then this slide is far, far, far better than this slide. So this is how you can use the classification hierarchy in smart art. Then list. For example, you would like to explain SF6 gas property, sulfur hexafluoride gas property. So there are 6 properties, and it is the easiest way to list it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it, right? It may be easier, right? It is looking easier, but it is boring also at the same time. So what you can do? You can convert this list into attractive smart art. How? Select the content, go to the smart art, select the appropriate style, and click OK. You will be converting it. So I have converted this smart art into this. You can see SF6 gas property, all these 6 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 points are written here, and very easy to do this. For example, select this, go to the smart art, go to the more smart art, go to the list, and in list, select any appropriate one. There are lot of examples. Let's say I'm selecting this one. So you can see converted, change the color scheme, go to font size, increase the font size, select all and increase the font size. That's it. You have to do little bit arrangement. So a boring list can be converted into attractive smart art. The same thing is done here. This is same SF6 gas circuit breaker. Then tables. Many times you need to use table for comparison providing data. This is one example of table. Very simple, 2 columns and number of rows. Dead tank and live tank are the main topics for comparison, and list out the comparison points. This is boring. What to do to convert this into attractive table? Simply provide shading. How to do the shading? See here. The main title is given a different shading, and this is given different color, this is given different color. How to do this? This is very simple. Let's say go to the table, select this one, go to shape fill. In shape fill, select any color. Let's select this one. Go to this column, again shape fill, select green one, go to this side and select any other color. So now you can see the earlier boring white background table looks attractive and very simple to do it. Then compare now the table. This is one example of table, and after providing the shading, the table looks completely different. The same table, same content, same number of rows, same number of columns, everything is same. Just I have changed the shading of a few rows and columns depending upon the content. This is another example of shading of the table. You can see here This is completely boring looking table, and it is converted into an attractive table with the help of shading. So provide the shading. It will make your table attractive and good looking. Then list. Already I have discussed. This is one more example. If you put this kind of list, functions of substation switcher, it's good. All the functions of substations are included. But if you use a different kind of slide, for example, put the content into this type of box, then it looks attractive. And this is the space, blank space. Here you can put any appropriate picture to make the slide more attractive. Then this is one slide. On left right hand side there is a picture, parts of the picture, and a short description. You can convert this slide into attractive by simple trick, that change the background of these two contents. How? Using this same content. See, ABCD up to L list, and then there is a sentence. But if you provide the background color in a box, the slide will look completely different. Very easy to do. How to do this? Go to the slide. Let's say select this. Go to the shape fill and give any appropriate color and border. Similarly, this we do not need bullet. So remove the bullet. Again, go to the slide, change the color and background. Now you can see earlier boring looking slide is now very attractive. So these are a few tips, and many times students are writing this any question, and then recently I observe one sentence one student has written, you are free to ask the question. Now in front of you there are examiners, and you should not write like this, you are free to ask question. If you have not written, then also examiner will ask the question. So this is completely avoidable. Do not write any question. Simply mention thank you. And instead of simply mention thank you, you can make that thank you slide even more attractive like this. You put your detail, your address, contact number, email ID, social media accounts if you wish. And this is your thank you slide, how it looks. So thank you. This is all from my side. I will share the PPT in the group. Please download the PPT, download that material. And once everyone download the material, I will delete the group tomorrow. Now, if anyone has any question, you please raise your question. Please ask the question. I will allow you to, I will on your mic. Yes, anyone. Raise your hand if you wish to ask the question. Yes, Sagar. Anyone, any question? I will
No,
be
sir.
happy answering the question. Okay, so I will put the PPT, this material, into our group. Please download it. And yes, Dixit, bye. Please wait. I am allowing you. Yes, Dixit, bye. Unmute mic and Dixit bhai, unmute your mic and you may ask the question.
Sir, thank you, sir. It is really informative session and it will be helpful to the students.
Thank you. Thank you. So I have recorded the session and I will upload the session and provide you the link also. I got registration of more than 60 students, but 12 participants are there. So I will upload the session on YouTube and we'll share the link. So thank you everyone. You can contact me for any kind of help in designing your PPT through mail or WhatsApp. So thank you for attending this session. See you.